At the weekend, Manchester City with that 4-1 win over Liverpool, but matched by Arsenal's 4-1 victory against Leeds. Well, while we have the family rivalry in the studio, it is an 8-point gap. However, it's not by any stretch of the imagination over and done with yet, because there's a game in hand for Manchester City. Win that, it goes down to 5. There's a game to be played at the Etihad at the end of April between Manchester City and Arsenal. Win that, and suddenly the gap is down to 2. There is no wiggle room for Arsenal.
You wouldn't expect any wiggle room at this stage. And at every juncture, people are still looking for Arsenal to slip up. In the last 4 games, they've been thinking that, and Arsenal have been very professional, and they've kind of swatted teams that people thought would have given them more trouble. Yes, Arsenal cause themselves more problems when they don't score first. You know, they kind of have to get into a game, and then bam, we see what happens, like we saw on Saturday. But you know, you look at City, and the City have navigated this time of the season immaculately, and you look at them now, and they seem to have hit form in the way they're playing. Jack Grealish was really, really good the other day, and the way they're playing, you have to feel like. Of course, people think they're favourites, but I'm still going for Arsenal to do it simply because they're in the box seat. They have to lose these games. City have to win these games. We know they're capable of doing it. But Arsenal themselves are on a brilliant journey. It's one of the greatest journeys I've ever seen.
It's going to turn into a documentary narrated by Samuel L. Jackson as the Arsenal players make their way through the
I'm very
season.
excited for them. It's a young team, and they're doing something now that could really set them in good stead for the future. So this is why it's important that Arsenal finish this off. And like when you set the scenario about the game in hand and the City winning the games, and then it's down to 2, you've still got to try and take that next game and win that game and go from there. That's all you can do.
But for Manchester City, they've clearly got the title now and catching Arsenal in their sights. You can see it just in terms of the level of performance that Righty was talking about.
Yeah, you can. I think still with that game in hand, you'll rather have the points on the board already. I think Pep did an interview a few months ago, and he said he knows to catch Arsenal and Arteta, they have to be at 100%. Every game, and even with that, they still have to hope Arsenal slip up. They haven't done that yet. I think it's tough. I think as much as I want to sit here and take the mick out of my dad, Arsenal are in the driver's seat, and it's their title to lose at this precise moment in time. But
they need to take 23 points from the remaining 27 to be absolutely sure of getting the title. Miguel, it's so tight. That is not impossible that they drop those points, and it's not impossible that City are perfect between now and the end of the season.
Especially not with Europe as well, given that you'd think that would take a bit of focus from City. But then maybe that can sometimes work the other way, where they're so driven, like, say, United in 99. That you just suddenly, that consumes you on all fronts. One of the things, I was there at Arsenal on Saturday, and one of the things that struck me, though, I went to that game, I watched City-Liverpool there, and I was expecting to be really tense because of what happened with City. It's like, oh no, it's all going to change now. And it was just like, it was a sort of enjoyable day out that you don't associate with like the title races in the 90s, the one you were in 98 or whatever. It was remarkable.
That's going to be key, isn't it, as we head into the sort of latter stage of the season, that ability that Miguel's talking about, of just managing to manage the emotions, to navigate that kind of tension.
That's the thing. We've seen a couple of times where teams have come and they've caused Arsenal problems, but they've got through it simply because they're playing a good brand of football. They're all confident in what they're doing, and you've just got to get that done. You've just got to get it done now. However you get it done, that's what we've got to do. Because you looked at our City brush Liverpool the other day. That was imperious. They were brilliant, and we've got to make sure that we just beat who we've got to beat. We don't have to beat it in City style.
We asked Arteta about that after the game, and he was talking about how he wants the players to enjoy. He kind of made the analogy of how if you're in a tight title race, you can feel like you're gasping for air, feel the oxygen, and kind of did you guys actually enjoy the races?
No. It was so tense. It was like you were switched on all the time.
Thinking about it every minute of the day.
No doubt.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting if he can get them to be thinking and being relaxed. And you look at them, they do look relaxed. You see them walking around. It's not tense faces like that when you're walking up. But I found
Imagine if it was though.
But like I remember because I was injured for the last couple. But once I got back on the bench and everything, it was very intense leading up to it. And stuff like that, because you know what you're going for.
Every game is going to feel like that between now and the end of the season, and Arsenal looking to play Manchester City towards the end of April. You sort of feel it's going to come down to that game one way or another between Manchester City and Arsenal at the Etihad. Miguel, Sean, lovely to see you as always. Righty and I will be back at the same time next week when I'm sure it will all have changed in terms of the race for the top four. It will all have changed at the bottom of the table once again, and who knows?
I sometimes wonder what is Pep Guardiola thinking. The fact that he let two players be sold to Arsenal. Do you think he believed that Arsenal were going to be title contenders this year?
It's difficult to know what he was thinking, but I don't think that he believed that they will be that good. He knew that he will make them stronger, not only personnel-wise, but this mentality-wise. But I don't think he would expect them to be that good. But now maybe he regretted it.
Yeah,
he regrets it. But that's football. Jesus wasn't happy in Man City, and they probably had a Haaland lined up in that position, so there was no point of keeping him there. I was a little surprised about Zinchenko, who was a really good player for Man City, and on that left side position, they know what he was thinking, but I don't think that he believed that they will be that good. He knew that he will make them stronger, not only personnel-wise, but this mentality-wise. But I don't think he would expect them to be that good. But now maybe he regretted it.
Yeah,
he regrets it. But that's football. Jesus wasn't happy in Man City, and they probably had a Haaland lined up in that position, so there was no point of keeping him there. I was a little surprised about Zinchenko, who